My name is Juliana Nykolaiszyn with the Oklahoma State University Library. Today is August 9th, 2014, and we're in Vinita, Oklahoma, interviewing Attucks School alumni. With me is Mary Crawford. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Mary, could you tell me the year you were born and where you were born?
1932 in Vinita, Oklahoma.
And tell me a little bit about your parents.
My father, he was named Coral Kirkendall, and he was a construction worker, and then he worked in the laundry here in Vinita, and he helped work on the Grand River Dam when they put that in down there. And my mother, she did housework for about 20 years to some people called Terrells, and they ran the hatchery.
Okay. And how did your parents come to Vinita?
Well, they lived in out at Ketchum and migrated into Vinita.
Okay. Okay. And describe where you lived as a child.
611 East Tahlequah. Born and raised there, and in fact, it wasn't but two black families live on that street, and that was my grandmother across the street and our house, and I had all playmates on that street. There wasn't like any segregation to us over there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And describe the house for me. How many rooms, what it was like?
We had a porch and one, two, the front room, the bedroom, dining room, kitchen. That's all.
And did you have siblings, brothers and sisters?
I had two brothers at that time.
And where did you fall? Were you the oldest, the youngest?
I was the youngest.
Ah.
But later on, my mother had another child. There was a girl. But I was grown then.
Okay. Okay. And so growing up, what did you do for fun?
Well, we go down to Bull Creek and fish and catch crawfish and have picnics. And at that time, you could take, say like 15 cents. All the kids in the neighborhood would get together and put their pennies together. We'd go to the store, Charlie Smith's store, and get 5 cents worth of bologna and 2 cents worth of crackers. Go down on Bull Creek and play.
And have a good time.
Have a good time all day long.
And, you know, growing up, were you thinking about what you wanted to be when you got older?
Yeah, but never was. I always thought I wanted to be a truck driver. No, but I didn't.
Why a truck driver?
I don't know. I just was in my mind that that's what I wanted to be.
Did you work growing up at all?
Yes, I started working when I was like 15. I worked for the boat rights when I was a teenager, boat rights store. Lots of places, restaurants. Scotty's cooked there. Clanton's, cooked at Clanton's. And then I got married and moved to Michigan, and I worked there. And I moved a lot of places trying to decide where we was going to live. I lived in Los Angeles for 8 years. I lived in Denver for 15 years.
And here you are back in Vinita.
And back in Vinita, after my husband died, we had property in Tulsa, so I came back and we weren't together and sold the property and decided to come to Vinita. Worst mistake ever made.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, can you describe what the town was like when you were younger?
Well, you couldn't go out. You couldn't go in the front and eat at places, you know, and stuff. And used the bathrooms and different stuff like that. You had to eat in the back. But to me, it was okay because it didn't make me no difference.
Mm-hmm.
And all of my friends that I played with were little white girls, you know, because they lived over in our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you attend church growing up?
Every Sunday, all day long, and through the week, yes.
What church did you
I
attend?
started out at Sunrise Baptist Church, which is now Serenity. And then I started going down to the First Baptist Church with my grandmother.
Okay. Well,
And I still attend it, but it's changed its name, UMBC.
okay. Well, when you were going to school at Attucks, could you tell me the years you attended when you started? What year did you start at Attucks?
1937,
And what year did you graduate?
49,
49. Okay. And did you start in the first grade?
primary.
Primary. Okay. And let's start with your primary school. Tell me about your teachers and what you remember from that
My
time.
primary teacher was Mrs. Shade, and she did primary, first and second grade, and had a little red table, round red table for the primary kids. But during that time, I could read and write before I even went to school, so I skipped from the primary to the second grade, and then from the second grade to the third grade,
Wow. Wow.
because you didn't start school till you were 6.
Mm-hmm. So were you learning how to read and write at home?
At home, yeah.
Who taught you?
My mother and my grandmother. Mm-hmm.
So education was very important to them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
My mother only finished the 8th grade, but she was very smart.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how would you get to school?
Walk all the way from the north part of town clear to the south part.
How long would it take you?
Oh, about 30 minutes. Everybody that lived in the north end would meet up on the corner, and we all walked together.
Rain or shine?
Rain or shine, yep, snow. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There was a school, the Riverside School, but that was for whites. We couldn't go to it, so we had to walk all the way, probably a mile and a half.
Did you pass it on the way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Pack a lunch?
Yep.
What would you take for lunch?
Sometime it might be bacon and egg sandwich, peanut butter sandwich, whatever.
Would you ever trade with your friends?
Yeah, we had one boy that was in my class. He and I were the youngest too, and his mother made homemade bread all the time, and he would trade me his homemade bread with ham on it for an egg sandwich. Delicious.
Different today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you mentioned Mrs. King, your primary teacher.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you talk about some of the teachers you remember?
Oh, yeah. Then after I left her room, I went over into the next room, which was Mrs. Vivian Terrell. She was a music teacher. And she did 3rd and 4th grade and music to everybody. Then you leave that room and you went upstairs to the 5th and the 6th grade was Miss Clara Hodrick. She was artist, she did stuff like that. And then when you leave that room, you went to Mr. Ryan's room. That was science. That was 7th and 8th. Then when you get into the high school, you go downstairs to the professor's room, which was 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And then you just switch out of rooms into...
Were there any teachers that really just stick out in your mind for, either a good experience you had with them or maybe a negative experience you had with them?
Yeah, Mrs. Armstead. I loved Miss Armstead. She was a very good teacher, and whatever she gave you to learn, if you missed some of it, if you missed 2 questions on there, she put your name on the board, and before Friday evening, you either had to come in there and get it off, get your name erased off.
They were tough.
Very tough, yeah.
What about discipline?
Well, we were all disciplined, yeah. You got whoopings, spankings, with a paddle.
What would you have to do to get a spanking or a paddling?
Talking in class and stuff like that, disrupting.
That would never happen to you.
No, I never was a disruptor.
Would teachers do other duties outside of teaching?
Huh?
Would teachers perform other duties either outside the classroom or in the school?
I didn't mention we had the homemaking economics room,
Okay.
which I love very much. We were taught a lot of stuff in there.
Okay.
Taught how to can, sew. We did sewing and CPR. We learned lots of stuff in there. Her name was Vivian Clay.
Okay. What about the principal?
Principal Blythe, he was a very stern man. Very nice man.
How is he regarded by the students?
Huh?
How is he regarded by the students?
Very nice.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So, describe a typical day in high school for me.
Well, you get there and you go into his room, and then you're leaving there and you go upstairs to Miss Armstead's room for spelling and prose and poetry and history and all of that. Then by that time it's probably lunchtime. You go down in the lunchroom and eat your lunch and go back up, go to your main room and take off again to some other room.
And then what would you do after school?
Well, we would go all through town. There was about 4 of us girls that lived in the north end. We'd go through town. There was a donut shop. We'd stop and smell the donuts. Go on down by the post office. There was a park there that had a water thing, and we'd sit there on that. Then we'd go on up through by the ice plant, and the man would give us a snowball out of the ice plant, and then we head on home.
That sounds pretty good.
And then on Saturday, everybody met down at Bull Creek to play.
So, can you describe what a classroom looked like?
Yeah, it was desks, you know, and you had your little ink well, and then you put your books up under there. It was all, and then you had blackboards.
Okay. Okay.
And radiators,
Mm-hmm.
instead of the kind of heat we had was radiators.
And what do you recall of the auditorium?
Well, I was there when it built, WPA built it on, the auditorium on. And my uncle, he did work there. I remember that, when they built it on. And it was basketball, cheerleading.
Were you a cheerleader?
Yep, cheerleading.
What sports did you cheerlead for? Basketball?
Basketball, that's all we had was basketball.
Okay.
And we had blue pleated skirts, white socks and white shoes, and a blue sweater and a white sweater.
Do you remember any of your cheers?
No. No. Maybe something like Go Team Go, no. 83 years old, don't remember that.
I thought I'd ask. What do you recall of the library?
Up at our school, we had a library in Mrs. Armstead's room that you could go in there and check out books.
Okay. Okay.
I've always been a reader. I remember when I was a kid, and we had a cousin of mine staying with us. And as soon as we'd eat supper, you had outside toilets. Well, I'd take me a book and go, to keep from washing dishes, I'd take me a book and go read. And we had a fight out there one evening. She said, "You do this every day to keep from washing dishes."
Got to get your reading in.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are there any memories from your time in class that just come to mind when you recall your school days?
Just all good times.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Outside of cheerleading, did you participate in any clubs or activities?
We had Girl Scouts and different stuff like that.
Would you take part in any competitions?
Oh, we get out and race on the school ground, play ball, softball.
Okay. So you mentioned you were a cheerleader. Who were some of your bigger rivals?
You mean classmates?
No, in terms of different cities, in terms of playing basketball, some of your rivals. Different
all
cities.
Over. We beat everybody. We'd go to Pawhuska and Tulsa and Glamour, Bartlesville. We had a good team.
Okay. And would a lot of people come watch basketball from the community?
Really? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What about dances?
What?
Dances?
Oh, after every ball game we had, the Rhines Hotel, which is now still standing there falling over, would go upstairs and dance up there after the ball games. Pay a quarter and go upstairs. They had a great big hall. That building was supposed to be in a hospital, and they didn't give blacks license for a hospital. So he turned it into a room and house and put his doctor's office downstairs. And then we go upstairs. And then all the teachers that come to town stayed there. We go up there and dance till 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock to go home.
What kind of music?
All kinds. Jitterbug, all kinds.
Would you go with a date, or would you
No,
just dance?
Everybody just leave the
together?
ball game and go up.
Okay. Would you date?
Yes and no.
So when you would yes and no hang out with a boy, what would you do?
I'd go to the movie.
And where was the movie?
On Main Street.
Okay.
Upstairs, you couldn't go downstairs.
Okay. So how did Attucks School compare to the schools attended by white students?
Well, they had things to play with. And some of them had buses to take them to school. Well, I think we had one time, I remember us having a sandbox at that school down there and a merry-go-round that they took away from the white school and brought down there. That's all I remember. I don't remember no swings or nothing. The school is still there. Mm-hmm. I live across the street from it now.
Okay. And how is the school regarded in the black community, Attucks School?
Wonderful. The blacks really participated with it, you know, the families.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing that the kids got there and on time. Couldn't be late.
So you graduated in 1949.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about graduation.
Well, to tell the truth about it, I missed 1 month graduate. Quit school.
Can you share why you quit school?
Just didn't want to go to school. Would have quit a long time ago, but my mom made me go.
Mm-hmm. You just go work?
Did
you go work?
Already was working.
Oh, okay.
Already was working, yeah.
So you're just working more?
$15 a week, yeah, I work more.
Okay, okay. So you, around 49, you left school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Brown versus Board of Education, 1954, happened. how did the community feel that Attucks School was going to be closing? Students would have to go to Vinita.
I had moved and I was grown and gone then.
Okay.
That was in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
I left Vinita in the early 50s.
Okay. Okay. Did you still have kin in the area?
Have what?
Family in the area?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I left and went to Tulsa.
Okay. What impact do you think the school's closing had on the community?
Well, I really don't know because I wasn't here,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't come back here.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So, but I think they enjoyed, going to the other school.
Okay. Well, during your time here, can you tell me about some of the black businesses that were big when you lived here?
Yeah. Across from the ballpark, there was the beer tavern. And then there was a restaurant by the Vinters. George Vinters had a restaurant. When I was a kid, Billy Terrell had a chili parlor down on Main Street. Used to be a lot of stuff on Main Street. And we had a black garage and a black hotel, two-story hotel, Georgie Ryder, and grocery store. It was lots of black business.
Okay. And you mentioned about the doctor. Did you have access to a hospital, or was it segregated?
Nothing but the county hospital out there, yeah. Mostly when people got sick, you didn't go to no doctor. They just give you some homemade stuff,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But we did have a doctor named Dr. Sharp that was in that building of where Ryan's at, and where Dr. Ryan died, he took over the practice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And did your parents and your grandmother remain in Vinita?
My mother died before I left Vinita,
Okay.
and my grandmother remained in Vinita till she passed away.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And where are they buried in town?
Out at Fairview Cemetery.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Attucks School is on the National Register of Historic Places. Were you involved in that process?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Can you tell me a little bit about how that idea happened to get the school on the register?
Well, I started it. When I came back to live here, I tried to get certain people to let's get it on the historical site. Nobody wanted to be bothered. Even my cousin Charles said, we don't want that old Attucks School because it's got mold in it and blah, blah, blah. Negative people. So then I went to Glenda Downing, and she and I got it started.
And you got it on there.
Got it on there. You'll see where, on some of those papers where she wrote on there, we did it.
How did it feel to get that done?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And then we had did a monument there, and we got bricks around the monument. Sold bricks. I think I sold 150 because I called everybody that had went to school in Attucks that I could think of, and they bought bricks.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of them, they sold about 50, I guess, all together. But anyway, all the people that had went to school there way older than I am. There's 3 people still living. That's 97, Marilyn Ryan, Edie Arns, and Dorothy Stubbs. That's the principal's daughter.
And they're still living.
Huh?
They're still living.
They're still living. 97, the Ryan girl is, yeah.
Wow.
They're all in their 90s. And originally, it's only about 12, 14 original people still living that started the school there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Are there any people that you keep in touch with that you went to school there closely?
Yeah, in my class, it's only one person left. She and I. Bernadine Hicks. She lives in Wichita. And we keep in close touch with each other. We started the school together.
Okay.
All the rest are dead.
Mm-hmm. I understand there's a reunion every 2 years of alumni.
Every 2 years, yeah.
What could you tell me about the reunion?
Well, beautiful. We always have such good reunions, and I enjoyed it until we incorporated with the younger group. And they don't believe in doing like they're supposed to. And also, Glenda Downing and I got the school incorporated and did bylaws. I was president for 4 years. And we got bylaws and all that. They don't want bylaws. They don't, oh, it's just awful. So I don't do much attending to it anymore. Mm-hmm. And I'm still on the board. But Glenda and the lawyer, they quit on the board because they wouldn't do right. Mm-hmm. So, just chaos. Total chaos.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's happening at Attucks School today?
Nothing. Now at the back, we're supposed to be doing a museum. They have not tried to do nothing. Mm-hmm. And somewhere I got that paperwork. We went to do the museum. I don't know what I done with it. Oh, I think this is it. And that's when we, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
That's when we, Glenda and I went,
Trying to get a museum going.
yeah, and they gave us rights. The school board gave us rights to have the museum. Mm-hmm. But they have not done one thing. So anyway, I said everybody wants me to run for president again, but I don't think I will. Plus, we also, I helped get a scholarship fund thing started. So we did quite a bit of things in that 4 years.
Well, Attucks School seems that it was very special to you.
Oh, very special. Mm-hmm.
What is one thing you want people to remember about Attucks School?
All the teachers especially, we had very good teachers and janitors that kept the school clean and just, I just love it.
And what do you want people to remember about you, Mary?
Just my name is all, it don't matter. That's about all. They don't have to remember me. That's all.
Do you have kids?
Stepchildren, yes.
Stepchildren?
Mm-hmm. I hear from them every day, either on the computer or by the phone. Mm-hmm.
Well, good. And how are you staying busy in retirement outside of your work with Attucks?
Somebody will call, come take me here and come take me there, and I need to go to the store. And it's one lady I take shopping, and I have to do half of her shopping and go around and pick up their groceries. I get in a cart, ride and pick up her groceries, most of them.
So you stay pretty busy.
I stay busy. Somebody always busy all the time.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to add about Attucks School or Vinita in general?
Well, Vinita sucks.
Okay.
It really does. And then, what is that? Oh, that's on the historical site thing. Oh, this is how many people original people that still living. before the younger bunch came.
Mm.
I was there when they built the gym on, so WPA did that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Was that, did you watch it being built? Was there,
Yeah.
what was special about that time?
Because my uncle was working out there and I was little and I'd go out there and holler at him. And then when they put the stage up there, I thought, oh boy, we're going to have lots of places to do plays, and,
Mm-hmm.
which we did and stuff.
Did you participate in a play?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we had one of our music teachers had a little band, we had a little band.
Good memories.
Yeah, good memories.
Favorite teacher?
Favorite teacher? Well, I would say Miss Armstead. Mm-hmm.
Why so?
Lucille Armstead. Because she seen, and she was nice, she seen that you got your lessons. Of course, all the teachers did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good educators. He was.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your memories of
Yeah.
Attucks School today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you. You're welcome.